What's up guys, my name is Samuel Leeds and in this video I'm going to be answering your property investment questions from last week. Now there's absolutely loads of questions and they're really good questions, so I'm just going to rattle through. I'm going to answer as many as I can, concise and quick and to the point. That's my plan. Here's the thing though, if you've got a property investment question, something that's bugging you, comment below because next week I'm going to do another video just like this and I'll be answering the comments to this video. So get commenting below. Also, while I'm talking and while I'm answering questions from last week, if you have a question that pops up, then comment it below. So watch the video, enjoy, comment, and don't forget as well to smash the like button, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, because if you comment below and ask a question and next week I answer your question, which I probably will do, you're not going to even know because you're not going to get a notification. So subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and let's get started. So what we got? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Hi Samuel, how can you recognize that a property is in negative equity? If you want to buy a property that's in negative equity, specifically because you want to take it over on a lease option agreement or negotiate something creative like that, which is a no money down deal, what I do is I go to areas that have bottomed out, places like Liverpool, Hull, Bradford. To be honest, there's even places even more central to the Midlands, like Stoke-on-Trent. And what I do is I look at how much are they asking for, what's the sale price, and then I look at how much did they pay for it. And if they bought it for really high, and now they're selling it for really low, and you can find this information online for free. It's really simple. You can go on the Rightmove and you can click on market info, for example, but there's lots of ways. If they bought it for 100 grand and now they're selling it for 60 grand, guess what? They bought it for 100, probably with a mortgage. They're selling it for 60 grand and they can't sell it for 60 grand and no one's buying it, but they can't drop the price because the mortgage is 60 grand. They're in negative equity. That's when I'll come along and say, I'll buy it off you for 70 grand. You can't sell it for 60, but I'll buy it in 7 years' time, which will give the market chance to recover. In the meantime, I'll take over the mortgage payments. I'll become the landlord. And if they're motivated enough to sell and they're in negative equity, suddenly I then take on control of that property. I'm paying the mortgage, but I'm now renting it out. So I'm getting paid and I don't own it. And in 7 years, I have the option, not the obligation, to buy it for £70,000. And we know that when things have bottomed out, we know it's only going to go back up. They bought it for £100,000 back in the day. It's going to go back up. So that's how I recognize a property is a negative equity. That's kind of my strategy. This is something as well that we do on the Property Investors Crash Course. I will leave a link in the description below. If you want to come to the Crash Course, we actually do this live at the Property Investors Crash Course. You'll literally be picking up the phone, doing deals over the 2 days. And I'll leave a link below and it's on the house as well, okay? So book below. All right, what else we got? Connor Baker says, hi Samuel, thanks for the content. Look forward to seeing you on the Crash Course in February. Boom, shaka. Can you BRRR on a tracker mortgage rather than a bridge? Okay, Connor, what you want to do when you do buy, refurbish, refinance, generally speaking, what we do is we bridge initially. So we'll all just use cash, because the thing is, if you get a mortgage on a property, like even if it's a tracker mortgage, if you get a mortgage, it's going to be less attractive for the seller to give you a good price. Whereas if you say, I'm buying it cash, baby, I'm a cash buyer. When you become a cash buyer, suddenly what happens is you get things cheaper. So you buy it for cash, or you use your own cash or a bridging loan, then you lift the value. You've got to find a way of pushing the value up. It might just be a case of making it mortgageable. And then you're going to refinance. I normally just refinance on a fixed rate, normal buy-to-let mortgage, depending on the property. So that's generally the strategy that we do. We'll go over this at the Crash Course. I'll see you there in February, hopefully as well, man. So get yourself there and hope that helps. Okay, what else we got? Josh Canna 4 says, hi Samuel, I've been following you for a good while now. Awesome, thank you for following me for a good while. And I've been looking at the rent-to-serviced accommodation strategy, but I've just found out that the area of interest is becoming restricted. How would you approach the situation with a lot of time invested already into the strategy in that location? Josh, you've invested a lot of time into this area and you've been doing it and you've been excited and you've been doing spreadsheets and you've been doing due diligence and you've been dreaming about it, and now you found out that the area is restricted. I don't know what that means exactly, in what capacity, but probably it means it's no good. And now you're emotionally invested in the area, and you're like, what can I do? Because I know this, because you say, I've already invested a lot of time into this location. But the thing is, you just got to move location now, and you've got to use all of that due diligence that you did, the template that you've created by doing the due diligence. You can now just do that in another area that's not restricted. As disappointing as the answer might be, you need to discipline your disappointment, move to another area, because the worst thing people can do is buy because they're emotionally invested in an area, or they're emotionally invested in a house. You don't want to be a motivated buyer. Or I know it's a rent-to-service accommodation, but if you're like motivated, it has to work, and you try and force a deal, sometimes no deal is better than a bad deal. So it depends on how restricted. I don't know what you mean by like the area is restricted. Maybe let me know in the comments on this video. But I would just say move area. Just find another area where you're like, yes, this works. It might be that the same thing happens again. You might move to another area. You might spend, 3 or 4 solid days doing all your due diligence and getting excited, and then suddenly, you find out that there's some issue, it's oversaturated, or there's a rule there, and you're gonna have to do another area, and it takes time. I mean, this is why I run training programs, to save people the pain of exactly that. So if you've not done any of our training programs, do it. Don't invest in an area that's bad just because you feel like you've invested the time into it. All right, next. Thomas Kazdi says, Samuel, is it possible to convert a house to a small HMO for 4 people only in Article 4? Unfortunately, my friend, it's not. Article 4, when Article 4 comes into an area, you can't even do 3 bedrooms. You just cannot rent out a house by the room. You just can't do it, because you've got to get planning permission. Article 4 is a bitch. And Article 4 is coming all over the country. I used to say to people, don't worry about Article 4, because there's only a very small few areas. Now, it's like, probably 1/3 of the country is Article 4, and Article 4 is coming into more and more areas. And in 5 years' time, people are going to say to me, Samuel, do you remember in 2020 when you could just buy a house and rent the rooms out with no planning, no even license if it was less than 5 people? Like, those were the days, weren't they? Everyone's going, those were the days, those were the days. Because if you buy a house and you rent it out by the room and then they bring in Article 4, you don't need planning because you got in early. You don't need planning, you have the grandfather rights. You have automatic planning permission. Just get in early, get in early. Find an area that's not Article 4 yet where it's coming. The council have to give you 12 months notice before they bring in Article 4. Get into an area where they're bringing in Article 4. Like where? That's going to be the next question. Last year, I bought a property, turned it into a HMO in Doncaster. I completed on the property, and then in July, rented the rooms out. October 2019, Article 4 came in. I'm all good. This year, 2020, in June, they're bringing Article 4 all throughout Birmingham. So Birmingham is going to be a no-go for buying houses and turning them into HMOs as from June 2020. Guess what I'm doing right now? Guess what my students are doing right now? Buying houses in Birmingham, renting them out by the room, waiting for Article 4 to come in. When Article 4 comes in, the house prices are going to go up in value, of course. It's going to kill the competition off because no one else can do HMOs. We've got automatic planning permission. We've got grandfather rights, and it's going to push the rents up because there's no more competition. And there's going to be so many people in 2023. Those were the days. Those were the days is such a loser thing to say. These are the days. Get in the right area. Get in the right strategy. Get in with the right people. I don't even have to say this on YouTube, like for free. I'm telling people. I did a video recently saying, this is what I'm buying. This is what I bought last year. This is my business plan. This is I'm telling you exactly what to do, exactly how to do it. A lot of my training is even free on YouTube and my crash courses. And the reason I do this is just because I hold everything with open hands. I don't think competitively, I think collaboratively. And as long as when you become successful, just let me know, Let me know. If you become financially free, drop me a message and I'll have you on Winners Wednesday. Let's see what else we got. If you're enjoying the video, please do smash the like button. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Paul Omateso. What are the top 3 books a new real estate investor should read before investing? Obviously my book, of course, Buy Low, Rent High. Also, I've written a book called Financial Freedom in 7 Days, and they're such easy reads. I would also say you got to read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about debt and how you can use debt as good debt and passive income, and it's just like a real game changer if you've not read that and you're new to this whole world. Well, there we go, there's 3 books. Buy Low, Rent High, Financial Freedom in 7 Days, both by Samuel Leeds, not biased, maybe a little, and Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. What else we got? Lucy Dore. Hi Sam, just ordered your book. Thank you for all the info. Based off of your videos, I decided to sell my flat in London and buy 2 properties up north to rent out. Cool. Probably a good decision as long as you buy right. I signed a 2-year fixed term mortgage on my property. There's an early get out fee of $2,500 until December 2020. My mortgage company won't let me take it to a new property if I swap from residential to buy to let, which is my plan. Is there any way out of it without paying the fee? Or should I just wait it out and put it up for sale in November? Thanks. So you've got to pay a fee of $2,500, which is a penalty fee. So you can either not pay $2,500 and wait almost a year, but then you've got to think, how much money are you losing in that year? If you sold the property in London or the 2 properties in London and you invested elsewhere, smart, and believe me, you can invest so smart. Like your houses at the minute are probably, I'm guessing, the houses in London are probably not giving you a great return. How much money are you losing if you wait a year? And is it a lot more than $2,500? In which case, maybe it's worth just swallowing the fee and taking it on the chin and paying the £2,500. Of course, it's your decision. I don't know what properties you've got. I don't know what properties you're looking to buy, but sometimes you just gotta look at the bigger picture rather than dying on the wrong mountain. Okay, next. Ryan McClure. I hope I pronounced that right, Ryan. Hi Samuel, I'm looking to buy a house and converting it to a 3-bed HMO. All 3 rooms will be just above the double bedroom room standards. My question is, do I charge more for a double bedroom, say $125 a week, in the view that 2 people can potentially stay in the room, or should I charge what I think a room will rent, £90 a week? You've got to rent out what the going rate is. You know, when people say, oh, that's too expensive. It's like, as a business person, which is what you are, because you have a product, which is your house, and you have a customer, which is your tenant, you just got to charge what people want to pay. So look on Spare Room and see what people are wanting to pay. Look at your competitors and see what people are wanting to pay. Speak to some HMO management companies in the area. Ask them what people are wanting to pay, and then charge what people are wanting to pay. If you've got 2 people in one room, I'll normally charge extra. I'll normally charge an additional fee because there's 2 of them. And also I'll normally only do that with 1 room in the house. If you've got, say, 5 rooms and you've got 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, that's 10 people in the house. It's kind of crazy. So normally I'll charge extra, and I'll have one, probably the largest room, I'll have a couple in there. You just got to charge what you can charge, man. You got to charge a good rate where people will move in, offer a good service, and let the marketplace dictate what that price is. Callum Gallagher. OMG! You answered! Thank you so much! I finally understand. I'm only 16 but can't wait to come to your crash course in a few years. How old do I have to be? Dude, don't wait a few years. Get down to the crash course now. You're 16 years old. I don't know what the rules are. You know, if I'm honest, I really probably should. I get asked this a lot. I should probably actually ask the the operations team and everything in the office what the rules are. But we get a lot of teenagers that come to the crash course. We have old people, young people, all kind of people in between. I think you might have to be 18 to come alone, but if you're 16, just come down with an adult. Just come down with one of your parents, one of your cousins, someone that's 18 or over. Get down. Don't wait a few years, man. This is the time. Don't wait a few years. But Callum, thanks for commenting, man. I appreciate your support. All right, Spider-Man 123456789 said, "Hi Samuel, I had attended the crash course. Okay, I hope you liked it. I'm sure you did. In July last year in Birmingham, and I'm currently saving for the academy." Boom, shaka, ha. Good for you, man. Respect. When looking at BRR, do you make an offer on the house first and then get the loan, or do you get the loan first? Also, is this a good strategy for beginners, as most bridging loan companies ask you if you already own a house? My understanding actually is that with bridging, it's like the easiest kind of finance that you could possibly want to get, because they don't care about you, they care actually more about the investment opportunity, bridging companies. So, okay, first thing I would do is I would speak to a broker and I would just see, can you get a mortgage? You know, what's the crack? You know, assuming that you found a good property. So you kind of, that's called like a decision in principle, you know, based on you buying a 100 grand house. Yes, we could give you finance and this is what it would look like and this is what we'd charge you. So you've got like an in principle offer going on. Then once you've got that, you're going to go and view the houses. You're going to put the offers forward and you're going to say, look, this is my mortgage in principle. And then if the offer is accepted, unless you're buying from auction, which is probably not smart in your situation with your first property and things like that, unless you're buying from auction, put the offer forward, offers accepted, and then say, awesome, thank you. Then tell your mortgage broker that the offer has been accepted. Then the mortgage broker will then actually get the finance, not in principle, but get it for that particular investment. And if he can't, for whatever reason, if the broker says, actually, you know what, we can't do this, then you just have to tell the estate agent, man, I'm so sorry. I had a decision in principle, but I can't. So you're always going to offer first. You know, you can't get all your ducks completely in a row before you start offering. So I think, did that answer your question in total? Is it a good strategy, buy, refurbish, refinance? Yeah, for sure. It's a great strategy for beginners, as long as you do it right. And the fact that you've been to the crash course gives me confidence that you're probably on the right track for sure. So good job. Hope that answers your question. JR says, why would they lend you 75% of the new valuation when you remortgage? There's a lot of questions, man. Okay, I'm just gonna do one or two more. Why would they lend you 75% of the new valuation? Because that's the new valuation. A lender will give you they'll lend you 75% of what the value is. So if you own a house for 100 grand and there's no mortgage on it, and you go to a lender and say, can you lend me money against this house? This house is the collateral. They'll lend you, they won't give you 100 grand, but they'll give you 75 grand, typically in buy-to-let circumstances. So if you buy a house for 100 grand and then you push the value up and now the value is 150 grand, guess what? They'll give you 75% of 150 grand. So they'll always give you 75% of the value, generally speaking, because the bank, the lender wants a little bit of security so they know that you've got a bit of skin in the game yourself. And by the way, that little bit of skin in the game yourself, that 25%, that doesn't have to be your money either. That can be someone else's money. Now we're talking about really leveraging, but that's for another video. Slow-mo for... Okay, Samuel, what are your thoughts on buying a new build for the purpose of renting out? Do new builds tend to go up in value any faster than existing or about the same? Thanks. I wouldn't say never, but if someone built a house brand new, I wouldn't then buy the house, because as soon as you buy the house, it's then gonna drop in value. If you're building the house, depends. I mean, I build houses, but I probably wouldn't build one house because the amount of effort and energy it takes to buy the land, build the house, you may as well build 5 or 6, right? If you're gonna buy a piece of land and then build 6 houses on it, we did that in Lincoln, we're now doing that, we're buying pieces of land. I've just been out looking around Stoke and Manchester just 2 days ago. Buy a piece of land, build 5 or 6 houses, then that can be really profitable because then you can either sell the houses and make profit or you can refinance, pull your money out and then rent. That can be really profitable, but I probably wouldn't buy an existing new build that's just being built. That's all we have time for today, folks. Wow, there was a lot of good questions. You know what I love about you guys? So I've got now, I think 152,000 subscribers on YouTube or there and thereabouts. That's quite a big number of subscribers, but the subscribers that follow me are actually smart. You know, they understand lease option agreements, rent to rents, HMOs, buy, refurbish, refinance, and I can tell that you guys are smart from your questions. However, there's no such thing as a stupid question. So regardless of how clever your question is, how stupid your question might sound, there's no such thing as a stupid question. When I started in this game about 11, 12 years ago, I knew absolutely nothing at all. So, you know, please do comment with your questions. I'm not going to judge your questions, I'm just going to answer them. For those advanced people, you know, respect, man. Respect that you're really taking your education seriously. For those people that are on the academy or that have come down to the crash course or that are booked onto the crash course, respect, because I really think they don't teach this stuff in schools. In school, they don't teach money. In school, they don't teach wealth. They don't teach money management. They don't even teach you how to write a check. They don't teach you about mortgages. They don't teach you about debt. Nothing in school. And then even if you go and study economics or go and study business in university, like, I'm not being funny, but you're probably going to be being taught by someone that read some books, you know. So that's why I really feel passionate. I've built up a successful property portfolio. I'm successful in property myself. I feel really passionate about actually passing that and giving back and teaching people. We have a training business, and some of the training, we do have advanced training programs. There is an investment for that. I don't even take a salary from the training company. You know, I do this genuinely because I just really enjoy it. So thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate you. Thank you for the subscribers. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. I look forward to reading your comments. And if you want to come and join us at the crash course, I'll leave a link in the description below, or you can just do it right here. Get yourself booked on the crash course right here, and get yourself subscribed if you're not already right here as well. Subscribe, book on the crash course. I'll see you there. Thanks so much for your support.